welcome back to another episode of the Rhonda She Podcast. It's your host, Rhonda Lynn, and we are talking about belly bloat today, okay? We're talking about your stomach being projected, going this way, away from you, okay? We're talking about people asking you if you're preggo and you're not. It's just a food baby, right? I got a few answers for you today, right? If you want to know, where does it come from? What causes it? And how can I reduce the amount of bloat that I am experiencing? Then make sure you stay tuned for the rest of this episode because I got some answers. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what causes bloat? Where does it come from? But before you can know that, you got to know what's going on. What is the process that is in process when you are getting bloated? It starts with food. It starts with eating. You're eating, right? Let's say you eat something. You eat a burger, some fruit, something, right? It goes down your esophagus and then it goes to your stomach. Your stomach is like right up in here, like right underneath your rib cage. And then it goes from your stomach to your small intestine, and then from your small intestine to your large intestine. So what's going on during this process of it moving from one area to the other? I'm glad you asked. So it goes down to your stomach. You got your stomach acids and everything. It continues to break it down because, you know, when you were eating it and you were chewing it, your saliva has enzymes in it that breaks down. It's the first stage of breaking down your food, right? So then you swallow it, it goes to your stomach, and then your stomach has stomach acids that continue to break it down even further. Now, from this part, it goes to your small intestine. Your small intestine is breaking the food down even more. But as it's breaking down the food, it's releasing gases, right? These gases are part of the process of breaking down the food so that it can go down to the large intestine and go from the large intestine to your colon and then excrete all the waste that you don't need anymore, right? But while it's going through this whole process, your body is taking things out of it that it needs for nourishment, and everything that's left behind, it's leaving gas behind. Right? So having some gas in your stomach right after you eat is normal. That's normal. But there are some people like me who have a harder time breaking down simple carbs that other people don't have a problem with, right? And when you have a hard time breaking down simple carbs, you have more gas released in your stomach, and then your stomach is pushed out away from you. Okay, you're bloated, right? And because you have a hard time breaking down this food or whatever, the gas stays in your stomach longer than it stays in most people because you have more gas there to be processed and released than everybody else, right? Which is why me and people like me are on the FODMAP diet, because it's a low FODMAP diet, right? Fermentable foods. Basically, the F stands for ferment, okay? And that's what the food does in your intestines, is fermenting, releasing gas. That's what that is, okay? So what contributes to this? Well, when you digest your food, your digestive tract draws in water from the outside of your intestines. This is why it's important to drink water, okay? To stay hydrated, because honestly, your intestines should have most of the water that it needs in order to push that food and the broken down carbs or whatever through your digestive tract. And if it don't have enough, then it's going to draw extra water from the outside to help and assist it in processing the food and pushing it down your intestines, right? So what happens here? Now you have this extra water that wasn't already in there, right? Then you have this gas that has been excreted from fermentation combined together. And then these are items that were not already previously in your intestines, and your intestines was not created to hold this type of weight. So it expands to make room for it. And now your stomach is looking like this, right? But if you already were drinking enough water and you were hydrated and didn't need to pull all that water out from the surrounding organs, then it wouldn't be as bloated as. Okay, so don't get confused. This is a natural process, and this is what is supposed to happen, okay? It's just a little harder on your system if you don't have the right hydration in your body, and if you're not eating foods that your body is comfortable with processing down with the least amount of work, right? So for most people, they can eat dinner and then when they wake up in the morning, their stomach then went down because the process is done. But for some of us, if we're eating foods that our body is having a hard time processing and is fermenting in our tract, then it might take a couple of days to go down, okay? Like for me, it takes like 3 days for my stomach to go down after I ate something I know I ain't got no business eating, right? And then on top of that, during the 3 days, I'm still eating, right? I'm still eating. Even if I'm eating right, I'm still eating. So not only do I have the situation going on from when I was eating stuff I ain't got no business eating, had leftover carbs in my in my intestines, and it's trying to process that and push it through, and while it's waiting on it to be able to be broken down all the way, it's constantly fermenting and releasing gases with the water that it had already pulled out from around the intestines to help it push it through, and it's still constantly pulling more water in because it still need more help because it's having a hard time. I'm still eating food over these 3 days. Even if I'm eating right, it's still food, and it's still food that needs to be processed. So now it's stacked on top of stacked, right? It's stacking up. I'm putting work in. My system is putting in work. That is what's going on. So you might be saying, well, what could I possibly be doing now, even when I'm eating the right foods, right? That's causing bloat that lasts longer than overnight, right? That lasts longer for the day. Well, a couple of things that contribute to bloating of anything that you eat, right? It's eating too fast. Some of y'all be eating like y'all eating y'all last supper. Like it's the last supper. Like y'all sitting at the table with Jesus, and he said, look, take this loaf of bread. I just split it up in between all 12 of y'all. Take this little piece of fish. This your last meal with me. And you like, okay, Jesus. You're swallowing air. Air is a gas. So your body is producing gas while it's breaking down the food. You putting extra gas into your body because you swallowing air as you chug down that burger and them fries, and you barely even chew on it, right? You just swallowing all that air. Chew slower. Chew thoroughly. Help your system out. Like I said earlier, the saliva in your mouth has enzymes in it to break the food down, to start the process. If you don't allow the first step to even take place properly, the rest of your system has to make up for that. Okay? And if you already are prone to bloating, you're not helping. You're not helping at all. Okay? Help you. So another thing that we do, right? Because I'm not picking on y'all. I'm talking about myself here too, because I'm known for it, baby. Let me tell you, especially if it's good. Eating too much of something. You get something, it's really good. You just eat it up. Eat all, you clean your plate, okay? And you know what? I'm not even mad at you, because most of us were raised to clean our plate. We were conditioned as children to eat past the feeling of satisfaction, right? I know I personally get a whooping if I left food on my plate, okay? So even if I'm feeling full, I have to eat it all or sit there until it's gone. How long am I sitting there? Okay? When you eat too much, it causes stacking, right? Now you're stacking these carbs on top of each other, because what's going on is when you eat something that your body has a hard time breaking down, it breaks it down, but it leaves a little bit of it behind, right? And the food, the carbs or whatever, the elements that get left behind are just sitting there. It's just sitting there, and it's releasing gases, it's fermenting, it's releasing gases, and now you're stacking food on top of it. So if you eat too much, then it can't possibly process all that food at the same time. You just eating and eating and eating. Think about like Thanksgiving. You just eating all day long, okay? You eat more and faster than your body can take it, okay? So you're stacking, okay? It's too much. It's really too much. You have to listen to your body. When your body says satisfied, stop eating. It's at the point where it says, you know what, I can handle this, right? If you go past this feeling of satisfaction, you're going to make my job harder, and you're going to suffer for it, okay? But some things that you can do, if you feel like you're too full, right? You feel like really bloated, your stomach feels hard, you're like, oh my God, this is too much. You know, you started bloating before you even finished your food, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I could feel my stomach start to bloat while I'm eating. I don't even feel satisfied yet. Like the second and third bite, my stomach feel like it's going like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So some things that you can do to help aid the process is try some deep breathing exercises to stimulate your digestive tract. And the way that you would do that is just take some deep breaths, right? So take a deep breath through your nose and exhale through your mouth. It might be uncomfortable to do that because you're already full, but doing that helps stimulate the digestive tract to help it get to going, because it might be stalled, right? I know it probably say, oh, how can it be stalled? Everything that's left behind is a stall, okay? So breathe deep. Help you, okay? Because eating food creates gas anyway, okay? Foods that are high in FODMAPs, okay? Fatty foods are not necessarily the enemy, but they're just not good for you. You gotta think about it. Everything that you eat, every ingredient that's in your food, it's like it separates it, and then it processes it separately, right? And it takes what it needs from it if it can, right? So fatty foods and all that grease and everything, that's why it's good to have an air fryer, right? If you want something crispy, crunchy, it don't have to be boiled in grease. I know, it feels different when you look at it that way, right? I know. And then lactose, because it's lactose. I mean, I think it speaks for itself at this point. But as you guys know, I started the FODMAP diet about a month ago. And as I documented during the journey of me trying the vegetarian diet and trying the raw vegan diet, and then where I am now on the FODMAP diet, I ended up here on the FODMAP diet because even though I was avoiding all these things that I just listed, I was still very, very bloated, okay? I was on the vegetarian diet, I was doing the raw vegan diet, and I was still so bloated and so discouraged, right? And it turns out that all these healthy foods that I was eating was causing the bloating, okay? The vegetables, the fruits, boom, okay? The more I ate them, the bigger I got. And when I tell y'all, I was so confused, discouraged, hurt. Like I really felt like there was nothing I could do. I felt like there has to be a bigger issue, like something else has got to be going on, right? So I went to the doctor. I got tested for IBS, Crohn's, celiacs, right? I tested negative for everything. And I'm like, are y'all sure? Let me see it. I want to see it myself, okay? I don't know what I'm looking at, but I want to see it because my body is telling me that something ain't right, okay? I am seeing people with different body frames than I have, and their stomach is flatter than mine. What is going on? Help me, help me. So my doctor was like, well, just because you are negative for these conditions, you can still have sensitivities to certain foods that are typically associated with these conditions, right? So that left me to do the work myself, okay? And I started journaling everything that I ate, and that's how I came across a 5-MAP diet, because of the things that I realized were irritating me and causing bloating and causing my stomach to hurt and causing me to have a hard time relieving myself, or causing me to be constipated sometimes, right? I mean, I'm keeping it real with y'all, okay? If you don't want to hear about it, turn. But if you experiencing what I experienced, then keep listening. So, what are the top contenders that I realized were not sitting right with me, right? That she was trying to tell me this ain't good for us, okay? And y'all, when I say that it wasn't good for me, I'm talking about I was breaking out. You can still see some of it here, right? Like I started breaking out. And you know, I mean, most people break out from eating a lot of sugar. But you know what? A lot of these vegetables, along with the fruit, have a lot of fructose in them, right? Who knew? Who knew onion and garlic had a lot of fructose and sorbitol in them, right? Make sure y'all read your labels. Okay, so the top contenders are raw am I saying this right? Cruciferous cruciferous fruits and vegetables. Okay, so I'm gonna run through the list real quick. It's cauliflower. Now these are the ones for me, but these are also on the 5-MAP list, right? Like if you get the 5-MAP app or the FIG app, we're going to talk about that later. These are listed in like a stoplight system, let you know how much of each one you can eat. But really, to be honest with you, if it's in red, I don't even touch it. If it's in yellow, I'm like, I don't know. It depends. I might try a little bit just to see. But cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. My mama loved Brussels sprouts. I don't see how she do it. Broccoli, cabbage, kale. I'll put kale in all my smoothies, yo. Okay? Onion, garlic. That includes onion powder, garlic powder, onion salt, garlic salt. It's in Slap Your Mama. It's in everything. It's even in hot sauce. Okay? All these years I thought I was allergic to hot sauce. That's what it is. Okay? And so once I read this part of the list, I realized something made sense to me. Right? So probably about 3-4 years ago, I went to a party in Los Angeles, went to a celebrity party, right? So in preparation for, leaving Illinois to go to California to go to the celebrity party, of course I'm like, I want to be, my best self, right? So I'm not going to get the stomach down. Right? This is before the journey. This is like I said, 3-4 years ago. So I did like this smoothie cleanse, like for 10 days. And basically every smoothie had kale in it. So I'm like, it'll say like 2 handfuls of kale. You know what I'm saying? 3 handfuls of kale with spinach, with arugula, with all this stuff with it, right? With apples and all that stuff, right? And when I tell y'all I was dedicated, right? I was dedicated to that cleanse. I wasn't eating nothing outside of it. I was doing like the straight cleanse. And I didn't lose no weight. And my stomach would be, like by the time I got ready to get on that plane, my stomach was so bloated it hurt. Like when I was in California, when I was in Los Angeles with my family, right? Because we was my family. We go out to eat and I can't even eat. I had no room for the good food at the restaurants that I was trying to eat at that we don't have at home. Because, I mean, who goes across the country to eat somewhere that they can eat at every day? Who does that? Okay? I can't even eat. That's how bloated my stomach was. I was so hurt and disgusted. I had bought these cute clothes and I was walking around looking like I was with child. Okay? I didn't understand it. Of all the weekends to have my stomach this bloated and this pushed out, it had to be this particular weekend. Of all the weekends, right? I mean, at this point, I'm not even this bloated when I'm on my monthly. It's crazy, right? So needless to say, I knew it had something to do with that, and I didn't do it no more. I didn't do that cleanse no more, right? With the smoothies and stuff. But I still had a hard time trying to figure out, well, what caused it? Because it's supposed to be healthy, right? Well, it also explains why I was bloated on the raw vegan diet. Because really the same things that were in those smoothies is what I was eating on the raw vegan diet every day. And you know what they tell you when you're on the raw vegan diet is like, even when you're vegetarian or whatever, it's like, eat, right? Eat until you get full. Eat until you feel satisfied. Don't starve yourself, right? These are natural fruits and vegetables. They're raw. They're good for you, right? So when I say I was chowing down on some broccoli and some cauliflower and cabbage and all the raw vegetables and fruits and carrots and stuff, I was killing that I was killing that shit. I was killing it, okay? When I stopped the raw vegan diet on day 12, when it's supposed to be 14 days, my stomach was measuring at 40 inches around. The whole point of the raw vegan was to get my stomach to go down. I was going to Miami. I wanted to be cute. I was trying to get fine. So I had to figure out something else. So at this point I have a week. I have like 8 days, 8 or 9 days before I hop the plane and go to Miami. And I switched over to the FODMAP diet on day 12. Like, this ain't working, right? So just to let y'all know, this morning, so it's been 3 weeks now. Been about 3 weeks since I've been on the FODMAP diet. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not always a good girl. I don't always eat what I'm supposed to. I need a little more discipline. I'm not saying I'm perfect. My birthday is next week, and they're gonna get what body I give them when I turn 40 next week, 4th of July. What? This morning when I got up, I measured my stomach. It was at 35 inches. Okay? I went from 40, actually the biggest inches around was 41. It was like 40 and a half or something. This morning I was at 35 inches after 3 weeks, and not always eating consistently like I'm supposed to. Trying out different stuff to see how it's going to react, right? So I'll be having some days where I'm like, dang, I shouldn't have ate that, but okay, whatever, right? I'm down 5.5 inches in 3 weeks, okay? I'm also down weight. When I first started this journey, period, all the way back to like vegetarian, right? I was weighing at 206. This morning, I came in at 186, okay? Y'all looking at that? I don't work out. I just changed my diet. I'm down 20 pounds. And my waist is down. My stomach, I measure around the belly button, is down 5.5 inches. Y'all know I'll never let y'all see my stomach, my silhouette, or anything like that, right? Yep. Okay, so what are the fruits? Okay, some of the fruits that are contenders, right? They fall into that raw cruciferous. I know I'm saying that wrong. Somebody correct me. Are apples. Apples, really. Apples, like, they ain't a red. Okay, apples, pears, grapes, apricots, prunes, peaches. Okay, I got a friend who went on a grape diet. I think he did it for like 7 days or something like that. If you watching this, hey, how you doing? I couldn't do that. I bought some grapes a couple weeks ago. I ate like a handful of them, and I could feel my stomach expanding. I was like, oh, you gotta do this on your own, bruh. Okay, I'm not even gonna, okay. And then of course, like whole grains, beans, legumes, right? Legumes is basically nuts, peanuts to be specific, okay, and almonds, stuff like that. And then there's the obvious contenders: fried, greasy foods. So yay to the air fryer, because I still like me a little crisp, okay. Artificial sweeteners. I mean, if you're gonna eat sugar, just look. If you're gonna do it all the way, okay. Most of those artificial sweeteners are carcinogenic anyway. You don't need to add that on top of these stomach issues. Okay, one issue at a time. Okay, sodas, soda water, you literally are drinking air. Okay, air bubbles. You're literally drinking air, adding on to the gas that's already in there trying to be processed. I mean, need I say more? Salt and preservatives, okay? They dry you out, they make your body draw in more water. It's just, okay? You're gonna be bloated. You're gonna be bloated, okay? But in a nutshell, basically a high fiber diet will have you walking around looking like you're ready to pop or poop. Okay, so why? Basically because these foods are harder to break down because of the fiber content, right? Because of the roughage. The roughage is harder to break down, okay? That's why most people who are like on a liquid diet, they be losing weight real quick because it ain't no work. There's no work for your body to do. It just passes it through, right? They cause your body to draw in more water to aid in the digestion process. And they also don't break down all the way right away, okay? So parts of it get left behind and it continues to release and ferment and release gas and push your stomach this way, okay? And it can take days for your bloat to go down, okay? Because you're stacking on top of it during those days. Like I said, if it's just regular food bloat from digesting, your stomach should be back down when you wake up in the morning, right? While you're sleeping, your body does a lot of work. But if it's still up, when you get up in the morning, it's up for the next day, it's what you're eating, okay? So, what is the easiest way to identify the enemy? I'm going to tell you. The easiest way to identify the culprit, the enemy of what's causing all your bloating issues, is to journal what you eat for each meal throughout the day, okay? You want to journal breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You want to write down what you ate, how much of it you ate, how you felt. Did you bloat? Did you get nauseous? Did your stomach cramp up? Did you go straight to the bathroom, right? Did it give you a headache? All that kind of stuff, right? You want to journal it and you want to keep track of everything that you eat, and then you can look back over it and you can see what your body is trying to tell you, because our bodies are designed to live. Our bodies are not designed to fail. We're designed to win. We have all these systems in place that are designed to keep us alive, okay, by any means necessary. And so when it comes into contact with something that don't fit right, it don't work right, it's causing a problem, it's going to let you know. You're going to have pain, you're going to have bloat, you're going to be uncomfortable. Write all that stuff down, okay? Your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and your snacks, and what you drink. Everything, okay? Like, imagine when I realized that lemon pepper had garlic powder and onion powder in it, and that's why I was getting bloated when everything else I was eating was right. Now I gotta make my own onion powder. I mean, not onion powder. Now I gotta make my own lemon pepper. When I get it right, I'll share it with you, because I refuse to give up flavor. Okay? We're gonna have to we're gonna have to reach a compromise. You hear that? Tink tink. Compromise. But listen to your body. She will tell you all you need to know, or he, or her, whatever kind of body you got. Your body will tell you all that you need to know, okay? And everybody's not the same. And you're gonna realize some inconsistencies. Like, for example, I can eat cheesecake, but I can't eat ice cream. I can eat peanut butter cookies, right? The 3-ingredient kind, but I can't eat peanuts, right? Are you feeling me? Okay, y'all. So that is this week's episode. Make sure you check the link below because this week's episode was brought to you by Motivated Coffee at motivatedcoffee.com. Best coffee on the internet, slow roasted to perfection, easy on the stomach, okay? There's a link below with a discount code just for you. Also, make sure you check out my 5-map planner, okay? It will help you document everything that you eat, how you react to it, and what you can expect to do next, okay? Because what you don't know, but once you know, then it's what you're going to do with it, okay? So if you know what's bothering you, you have no choice but to acknowledge what your body is trying to tell you, okay? The link is below for the 5-map planner. Can you tell it's my first time saying this? Okay, anyways, check it out. And until next week, peace.